Hello. Thank you for taking the time to hear what God has placed on my heart. The issue we're facing today, the enemy doesn't need to take out the entire family, church, organization, or community. He just needs to take out the man that has been called to steward them. And unfortunately, men are failing in our culture today. We see it everywhere. When godly men don't show up for their community, you're left with an authority breach. Just look around as corrupt leaders, corruption in government, corruption in corporations, contempt for authority, the way politicians talk about other politicians, defund the police, and our destructive riots. A validation crisis. Really, I'm convinced that most of our world right now is just people screaming out, validate me, whether it's through the allure of social media to the need for handouts and the entitlement generation. And then virtue dormancy, extended adolescence. That life stage of adolescence has gone from a 5-year life stage to 14 in the last 50 years. People are leaving the church in droves, and woke culture has absolutely taken over. We've lost a moral compass. This, to me, is a summary of our country right now. So what happened? I call it the fatherless epidemic. Men not jumping in and taking over what is known to be the father role, whether it's a family or father role of organizations, churches, communities. There's a lot of reasons you could point fingers. 3 I want to call out right now is really a result of the attack on masculinity as a whole over these last 100 years, and not just masculinity, but again, fathers and their role specifically. We had 2 world wars starting 100 years ago. They brought men to the other side of the world. A lot never even came home. The ones that did never really emotionally came home. Busyness. The Industrial Revolution took fathers away from the home for the first time in the history of our planet. We're always connected to our work, to our jobs, to our fantasy football, you name it, through our phones. And things like the proliferation of youth sports have really demanded so much from our families and have separated fathers from their kids. Culture, wokeness, gender confusion, new wave feminism have declared war on masculinity. And right now, that's just caused men to become either ignorant or apathetic to their role as a father. When you're left with a country without fathers, you end up with a country that has families, organizations, governments being run by what are effectively 12-year-old boys. Nothing is calling men to be anything more than that at this point, nor giving them a process to do so. The answer, it's way easier to grow healthy kids than it is to fix broken adults. So let's start with our sons. Until a boy knows he is a man, he'll spend his entire life trying to prove that he is one. And that's what we see. That's the chase for cars, power, experiences, money. But validation was never something meant to be earned. It's something that's meant to be imparted. God designed true masculinity to be bestowed from a father to a son, and he exemplified it himself when Jesus was baptized. It's the one story in the Bible where the heavens open up and God speaks to a group of people. Says, this is my son, Jesus, gave him an identity, and he said, in him I'm well pleased. He gave him validation. We are the first society in the history of our planet that has relinquished this duty of bestowing masculinity from father to a son. Welcome to the Access Project, a ministry dedicated to reclaiming our land through integrated communities of men that are awakening destiny by empowering fathers and initiating sons. How do we do it? The Access Project exists to support, connect, and partner with fathers to initiate their sons into the community of men by rekindling the sacred act of coming-of-age ceremonies. Do this through a 3-step process. 1, a 6-week preparation course, just the fathers to prepare themselves, their hearts, their minds, and materials to take their kids on an initiation weekend full of fun, full of tenderness and depth, and the capstone of it all is a coming-of-age ceremony. And that kicks off a covenant relationship that will really intertwine father and son for the remainder of the years where the son is in the home before he takes on the world. This isn't for all fathers. It's for intentional fathers. Are you in?